Hello, it's Phil here at digitaldjtips.com with a quick overview of the Pioneer DDJ-S1 DJ controller. There's a full review to accompany this on the Digital DJ Tips blog, and the full URL is at the end of this overview. So go and look at that because there's a lot more detail there. But just for a quick overview, firstly, look at the size of this thing. It's huge. Look at the legs underneath it. They're chunky. This is a big DJ controller. This isn't the kind of thing that you can throw in a backpack. I carry my stuff to my gig in this, which is great if you're using one of these. But you need a car to get this thing to the gig. This controller is not really portable. But let's flip that round. You arrived at your gig, you plonk this thing down on the table. Which one looks more like you're DJing? Plainly, this looks like you're doing what everyone knows DJs do. Controllers, they're great to us, we know what they mean. But you put one of these down and someone's likely to say to you, hey, I like your DJing toy, or I like your home DJing kit. So, you know, they don't need to be this big. This one here does more than this one. But it feels like DJing. Pioneer kind of knows this. They make all the pro DJ gear in all the DJ booths, certainly in most. And this looks like their pro DJ gear. So if you're the kind of person who wants to turn up and look like you're DJing, you know, you can immediately see that this is going to do the business for you. Whether that's important or not, there's another debate. Okay, so it's big. We've worked that bit out. It uses Serato itch software. There's a version of this controller called the DDJ-T1, which uses Tractor, but today we've got the version that uses Serato itch. It's very simple to use because you put the software on your computer, you plug it in, and that's literally it. It just all appears. If you're using a PC, you need to put the sound drivers on as well. But it really is very simple. There's no complicated audio setups. There's no selecting your controller. There's none of that stuff. It just works straight out of the box. So that's going to be appealing to people who are maybe not used to digital gear, just want to get going. Again, if you're used to using CDJs, that's going to be you as well. So the Jog Wheels, let's look at them. They're straight out of Pioneer CDJ controllers. They're big. They're clunky, they're noisy, and if you're used to using a Pioneer CDJ, they're going to work exactly how you remember. You set your cue point, you hit play, and you're off. There's a nice line there to show you what you're doing. You can actually alter that line, so you could have a different type if you wanted. There you go. It's the second type with just one little blob going around. Touch the top to scratch, and nudge using the side. You can turn that behaviour on or off there as well, so now the whole thing nudges. So there's your jogs. They're big, they're clunky, they're noisy, they're Pioneer. You know what you're getting. They're going to last forever. Look at them compared to the jogs on the Vestax. They're small, they've got finesse, they're completely silent when they go around, but that's DJing to a lot of people. Okay, there's the Jog Wheels. Let's look at some other features which are unique on this. It does everything that you would expect a DJ controller to do, by the way. Everything's there. It's 2 channels. You can't control 4 decks. It's just full standard 2-channel controller. And it does everything that all DJ controllers do. But I'm going to show you some of the features that are different. This is one of them, needle search. What this allows you to do is search through your track very quickly. And you can see that there's a red line at the top, showing you how far into the track you are. This can also be used to search A to Z through your record collection, which is quite a nice feature, especially if you tuck your laptop under the back of it, which is one of the things that Pioneer kind of recommends you do. Pop your laptop under there and have the screen here. I wouldn't do that personally. I like to have my keyboard there. I like to have a stand like this with my laptop on it so I can quickly look for songs, and I just like to have the keyboard. I'm not checking my emails, I promise, but I'm one of those DJs who thinks, well, I've got a laptop, I might as well have it there, just in case. And I imagine some DJs will set up with their laptop under there, halfway through a gig, for some reason or other, have to pull the thing out. So maybe a step too far for some, but you know, might appeal to you. Tuck your laptop in there, have the screen there, you can see the crowd, they can see you, you look like you're playing your music. One of the criticisms of digital DJing is too much screen staring. You know, it looks like you're checking your emails or you're on Facebook. But it's certainly not going to look like that with this controller set up the way Pioneer intend you to set it up. Okay, so we've looked at that. Let's look at the fader start. This is something which is unusual for Pioneer. and this allows you to start the track using the fader. So if you listen to this, and that's this little button here, which just allows you to switch on that feature, and you can have that on either deck. So useful if you're kind of DJ, I guess mobile DJs who just want it to start, don't want any fuss. It's quite a nice feature. It's taken straight from Pioneer's analog gear, where you have a little lead at the back that connects your mixer to your CDJ to allow you to do the same kind of thing. So that's the fader start. Another thing I'd like to show you is something called slip. Now slip is a nice little feature that allows you to mess around with the track, and when you're finished, the track continues as if you'd never started to mess around with it, i.e. it's kind of been playing in the background. So let me show you what I mean. If we start the track that's playing there, if I was scratching now, I just wanted to do a bit of a scratch. It just scratched and carried on where I let go of it. If I turn the slip on, I can scratch and it will carry on where it would have been. So here we go. So you can hear I did that in time. I could do it again. And it's carrying on musically where it would have been. Whereas without, it slipped off time. So slip is really good. It doesn't only work with scratching, it works with the effects, and it works with loops, and it works with anything. In fact, it won't work with the effects because the effects don't alter where you are in the track. But it'll work with looping, and it'll work with anything that changes the transport position on the track. Slip will take off where you left off, which is really good if you're messing around on both decks, but they're both in sync and you don't want to mess with that. So slip is a nice function. It also works with reverse. So if I'm reversing, there's a reverse button here, so watch this. That's just making the track go backwards and forwards. But I turn slip on, it'll carry on where it left off. So that's almost like what's called censor on some DJ controllers, where you just want to drop out a swear word or something, and then with slip on, it'll do that, but the music will carry on playing normally. So that's the slip control. What other little features are on here that are flashy that I can show you? I think the way the jog wheels work is nice. So you can see the light going around on the jog wheels. I can turn that into just a blob instead of a whole line. So if I go like that, you see there's now a blob going around. Silly things, but I like them. And let's have a little look at the inputs and outputs as well. So down here on the front of the unit, there's headphones for big and small sockets. Over here, there is a switch which tells the unit how to treat the external inputs. Now, if you look on the top of the unit here, there's a microphone there, by the way. There's also a microphone input here. So there's two microphone inputs, both with full EQ, by the way. You control them both at the top of the decks here. And also there's an auxiliary input around the back. Let's have a look at the back actually. So there's an auxiliary input here which can be used for a CDJ or whatever. It's a backup more than anything. But this and the two microphone inputs are kind of routed through one channel, and you can put that through the software. So for instance, if you put it through the software, you can use effects on it. Or you can put it just turn it off so it's not going to be used at all. So that's the external inputs. So good for mobile DJs because there's two microphones and also a backup. What else have we got around the back? You can see we've got professional XLR outputs for putting straight into a PA system. Now that's going to be really good again for mobile DJs who don't want to put a mixer between this and their main PA. Plug it straight into the PA, but it's also got the RCA outs, the ones we're using, the more standard ones. And that's about it for your connections. The one thing I would say this unit is plainly professional, but the one thing I would say it's missing is a booth output. Now, a booth output would allow you to control a separate speaker in your DJ booth, which is separate from the one out on the floor. And if you're in a big venue and the speaker's out there more than a few feet away, there's a tiny but perceptible delay between the sound from those speakers reaching your ear, coming out of the speaker and reaching your ears. You need a booth speaker, you need something close to you for mixing. And the booth output is basically a separate output at the back, and a separate knob for controlling the volume of it. This doesn't have that, which means you couldn't really put this in a large club as its only piece of gear without having a separate mixer or a boost speaker that's somehow wired in differently. So Pioneer know that, and this is aimed, I would say, more at the mobile DJ who doesn't ever use a boost speaker, just sets his speakers up either side of him, or the bedroom DJ who wants something that's just like the kind of kit that he's going to find in a club. And I'd imagine this kind of thing would be a good second or home unit for the professional DJ who really doesn't need all the gear at home and just wants something that they're used to and they feel comfortable with to DJ with away from the club. So there you go, that's the Pioneer DDJ-S1, and as I say, you can see the full review of this on our website at digitaldjtips.com, and the web address appears right after my words now. Thanks for watching.